They don't have anything. From my understanding, besides having family that works there, you know, that get mad because I ask questions and then tell me that they only want legitimate leads when I'm sending them everything and I'm on legitimate leads. You guys don't have any leads. That's what you're telling me. It's what you're telling everybody else. I heard that telephone call with Chris on it. Oh, I rode around with them. They showed me this, they showed me that. Well, isn't that nice that you're not even a biological parent and yet they turned around and showed you everything? Huh, kind of makes me wonder how much somebody got paid.
Selective enforcement is a concept that refers to the practice of law enforcement agencies choosing which laws to enforce and against whom, often based on subjective criteria such as race, socio-economic status, or personal biases, which be significant in this case. In the context of a missing child's case, selective enforcement can have a significant implication on the search effort, investigation process, and ultimately the outcome of the case. When selective enforcement is at play in a missing child's case, it can lead to disparities in the allocation of resources, attention, and priority given to the investigation. Law enforcement agencies may prioritize cases based on the factors such as perceived credibility of the individuals involved. Perceived credibility of the individuals involved. That would fit here. The socio-economic status of the family or the perceived innocence of or guilt of certain parties. As a result, some cases may receive more thorough and timely attention, while others are relegated to the back burner, potentially delaying crucial search efforts and diminishing the chances of a successful resolution. Moreover, selective enforcement can contribute to bias and discrimination in the investigative process, leading to tunnel vision and overlooking key leads or evidence that may be vital to finding the missing child. Law enforcement officials may be influenced by preconceived notions or stereotypes, causing them to focus on certain suspects or individuals while disregarding others who may hold valuable information or play a significant role in the case.
Oh, Sumner County or TBI?
Sumner County.
Well, my opinion on this matter is that the first 48 hours is the most important. And they just marked it as a runaway listening to his mother. They didn't take into effect that even though he's 15 physically, he's not 15 mentally. He has autistic traits, and he's been diagnosed with autism, and then his chromosomal deletion. All of that, mentally he's not 15, maybe 10. And it took 3 days to get him as an Amber Alert. Their policies and procedures they're not designed for a child that is on the spectrum.
Right.
And they should immediately have put him on the Amber Alert. And they should have definitely have investigated differently when it comes to the investigation part. The search and rescue is one thing. They did a lot for that. But they should have turned around and dusted for fingerprints, looked for anything that might have been out of the normal, and they didn't do that. They failed my son.
I agree, because like you said, the first 48 hours is the most important. So why take her word? Why on earth did they not just conduct a proper investigation right off the bat?
Well, good question. Maybe their deputy chief could answer that question. But
What did you see what came out last night on your local news with Nick Barris where he said he spoke with law enforcement and said it's an investigation, but the DA won't do anything because they have no physical evidence. How can that even be possible?
Well, they have no physical evidence because they didn't do forensics. I mean, we're talking about they didn't tape off anything. They didn't come in. They didn't lumen all the house. They didn't dust his room for fingerprints that wouldn't have belonged there. They didn't do a
In
fucking
cases where
shit.
selective enforcement is evident, the trust and cooperation between law enforcement officials, the family of the missing child, and the community can be eroded. Families who feel their case is not being taken seriously or that they are being treated unfairly may be less inclined to collaborate with authorities, hindering the flow of information and impeding the progress of the investigation. This breakdown in trust can further complicate the search efforts and prolong the ordeal for all parties involved. Furthermore, selective enforcement can also impact the police perception of law enforcement agencies and the justice system as a whole. When inconsistencies in the handling of a missing child case are apparent, it can erode public trust, fuel skepticism, and undermine confidence in the ability of authorities to effectively address and resolve such critical matters. This can have far-reaching consequences beyond the immediate case, affecting the credibility and legitimacy of law enforcement institutions in the eyes of the community, Sumner County. To mitigate the efforts of selective enforcement on missing child cases, it is essential for law enforcement agencies to prioritize transparency, accountability, and fairness in their investigative practices. Equitable treatment of all cases, regardless of the individuals involved or the circumstances surrounding the disappearance, is crucial to ensuring that every missing child receives the attention and resources necessary for a thorough and comprehensive search effort. Building trust with families, maintaining open lines of communication, and upholding the principles of justice and integrity are fundamental in promoting a fair and effective response to missing child cases, ultimately increasing the likelihood of a successful resolution and the safe return of the missing child.
Because they said they don't have anything, and then they want to sit there and tell me that, get mad because I ask questions, and then tell me that they only want legitimate leads when I'm sending them everything, and I'm on legitimate leads. You guys don't have any leads. That's what you're telling me. It's what you're telling everybody else. I heard that telephone call with Chris on it. I rode around with them. They showed me this, they showed me that. Well, isn't that nice that you're not even a biological parent, and yet they turned around and showed you everything? Kind of makes me wonder how much somebody got paid.
There we go.
Same here, because he's the last one that should be riding around with them. It should be you.
Most of the time when you're doing a search and rescue for a child that's autistic, you'll have at least one of the parents, the biological parents, going with law enforcement because they could possibly scare the child and they need to hear a voice that is familiar to them.
There's more
And
reasons
yet,
too.
Katie didn't leave the house.
It seems since the get-go, since Seth walked in on Katie and Chris laying out the groundwork to their story as to how Sebastian Rogers got missing, to a bunch of people that are already friendly with the family in the area, not to mention Katie's relations work internally. Everybody's on a first-name basis and already has a level of comfort. There's already a degree of unprofessionalism to that. And Seth is here on Crime, Lies, and Lies, Brooks' channel, talking about it in the final hour of yesterday's live stream. The link will be in the description. This is real concern in how things are to go forward in this situation. Friends, Please remember, if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell, hit the thumbs up, and share this out to your social medias. The old regular for YouTube. We'll be back on the next one. Tell me what you think in the comments section below about, I guess it would be a conflicting relationship now, wouldn't it? Leading to what we call, well, one part of police corruption, which is selective enforcement. Good day.